After we just casted a Protoss vs Zerg at the Esports Venture Cup, we are now going into a Zerg vs Terran. We have our first game in the best of 3 between Targa and Happy. Happy is starting to the top right, and Targa is starting to the bottom left of Yonsu. And guys, have you ever met Happy? Happy, I have to say, like, he's never really happy. I don't know how he came up with this nickname. I think I asked him once in Finland and I forgot again. So I have to ask him again the next time I see him. But he always looks a little bit sad, so I'm not quite sure how he came up with the nickname Happy. I think it's actually because he always looks sad that someone told him he should be happy, and then he named himself Happy. It's something like this. But the guy is a boss. I mean, he's probably one of the best Terran what am I saying? Probably. He is one of the best Terran players that we have in Europe, and I'm very eager to see how he's doing in the tournament. Targa, on the other hand, he is someone who kind of made waves in WCS in the last year, and he is definitely a decent player. So this guy can cause an upset, he can do a lot of damage, and everybody knows that. So let's see what he's going to do against Happy here. For now, we have Unhappy Happy starting to the top right with the barracks and gas. So standard opening for him. This is like the go-to build that you will see in most Terran versus games. Just starting with the Reaper, most likely also going into Reactor and then into the command center. That's kind of what we see most of the time, and for very good reason. As a Terran, you want to know, what's the Zerg doing? There's so many all-ins that we had in the past, especially when Terran players were trying to get their third base as fast as possible, or at least the command center, the main base, that as a Zerg, you were looking at that and you were like, you know what? I do not want to play a long game against you. There were Widow Mines, all these nasty things that got a little bit nerfed by now, and speed medivacs and all that bullshit, and you were just looking at it and you was like, ugh, do I really have to fight this? No, I don't. If he plays greedy, I'm just gonna roach bust his ass. And that is something that nearly every Zerg player did for an eternity. They just went in, they went ham, they built roaches, they built banelings, and every Terran player was just like flaming the entire time, and they were like, this is bullshit. And well, by now they know how to counter that, they know how to fend off against that, and the first thing is, as usual, knowing is half the battle. And if you really want to know what's going on, this tiny creature here is absolutely amazing. It is called a Reaper, and it has jackpads. It is a little bit like Duke Nukem. It can just hover up and down of cliffs, so if you ever played Duke Nukem 3D, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you didn't, then you're probably 12 years old, or you just have no esports culture. But this bad boy can jump up and down cliffs, and he can get scouting information. And that is something that is absolutely valuable. So what do you want to know? You want to know, is there gas? And that's the case. You want to, of course, also kill a couple of drones. If you get a chance to do that, that's absolutely amazing. But you want to know, okay, is there gas, yes or no? And does the Zerg stop after 100? He doesn't. So where's that Reaper? That Reaper is dead. Alright, so while I was trying to explain to you what he wanted to see, the Reaper just died. And that is bad news for Happy, because that's definitely not what he wanted to happen here. Because the only thing that he saw is this, and this is nothing. He didn't even see that gas. So he has absolutely no idea what's going on. No idea. He doesn't know that there is gas, he doesn't know that the Zerg is still mining gas after he has 100, and that's very annoying for him. But he has another Reaper already in the making, or he has one Reaper that is trying to just scout a little bit what's happening here. I won't get easily into the main base, but he at least can roam the map and can just like look if there are a couple of roaches coming his way. There's also immediately another base being built for Happy, and this is the third command center that we were talking about earlier. So he's trying to do that as fast as he can so that he can start with that thing. But at the same time, we have a couple of overlords in the vicinity. So the overlords, they are very, very nosy creatures by nature. They want to know what's going on. They're a little bit like your mother when you stayed out very, very late and she wants to know what's happening when you are, for example, coming home late for the first time when you were like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, 15, I don't care. And she's like really worried that you do drugs and she searches your room. That's an overlord, because he wants to know what's going on. So he pokes into that natural and he looks like, alright, you have a base. That overlord over here pokes into the main base and he wants to know, okay, do you have gas? Is there some kind of tech? Is there something nasty going on? And when it does, he doesn't call the police, but he just messages back to the Overmind and says like, hey, listen dude, there's a lot of stuff going on right over there. You should probably do something about that and prepare. So usually that is something, yeah, that is usually something that goes well for the Zerg player if he gets those information. Also a reason why we have this fast upgrade into speed. Helps incredibly well later on with the Overseers when you have Mutalisks on the map, you know, try to find those Widow Mines really fast. But at the same time, you can speed with those guys into the main base because they are pretty slow. The Marines are gonna kill that bad boy before the speed upgrade is done. Well, it gets a little bit deeper into the base, but I don't think he actually even saw that third base. So that third base is still a mystery to him, and that is, of course, a bit unfortunate. That's why he sends now Overlord number 2 in there, and now he suddenly sees, oh, look at that! There's another orbital command. This is awesome. At the same time, he doesn't find it all too awesome that there are this many aliens that go in there. And, well, one queen needs to transfuse quite badly, but there is no energy. Targa suddenly is supply blocked, losing another Overlord, the one that was scouting in the main base. At the same time, the Zerglings are taking care of the Hellions, but a lot of damage already done. And, for Harvesters, but quite a few Zerglings going down in that endeavor. And of course the Queen as well. So Happy is starting to go into Blue Flame here. And he has not started additional factories yet. Oh well, he has started one. So he's going into the Blue Flame upgrade. He's going into Triple Hellion right now. And that is a lot of fun there. So with Blue Flame Hellions against Zerglings, you're having a pretty good time. That is, yeah, that's kind of the happy place. That's the Terran happy place. When the Zerg player just builds his hopes on Lings and you have Blue Flame Hellions. This is like where you start whistling and you walk down an alley and you are basically whistling after cute girls. That's like a good day. So that's what's currently happening here. But we have Targa being exactly using the scouting information that those Overlords supplied him with, and he's like, well, what? You're going for additional factories? You're going for Hellions? Alright, I'm gonna drop a Roach Warren right now. Queens are not gonna be enough here. I need that Roach Warren. And that's what he's currently gonna do. Roach Warren going to help him out a lot. And Empire's happy. What is he doing? Double armory. Yay, get those upgrades. And of course also adding at the same time the first siege tank into the Zerglings trying to go through here. That's only 2 Marines and he needs the mass repair from those SCVs, and he's getting it. At the same time, this is, well guys, this is a little bit like Pawn. This is a lot of guys against one queen. Now it's 2. And that queen goes down. I don't blame her. At the same time, we have all those roaches, all those drones being toasted. The roaches aren't there yet. They want to go in there too, but yeah, the Hellions alone already doing quite a lot of damage. And if you look at the resources lost, then Targa lost quite a bit. 2,000 against 800, more queens coming in, and that evens out the ratio a little bit. And the Hellions are not too confident and move back immediately. So the upgrades are coming through for the Terran player now. And Happy is doing an incredible job here. He wants to push through here though, but like suddenly those roaches are giving him a tough time, and he lost 3 Hellions in that quick poke, so that didn't really work too well for him. Thankful. Oh, Targa! Like a boss, cuts off the path of retreat, traps all of the Hellions, takes them out, and this is the task force of Happy that he had on the map. Those were the guys that were supposed to do the dirty work, and now they are all gone. So Happy has to rely on the siege tanks and the defense back at home, while Targa has a bit of breathing room now that he needs to get the infestation bit up, to get the Hydra list then in. We just want to have a little bit of time to breathe here and just stabilize, and that's what he's doing. He's getting his own upgrades, he's spreading creep at that third base, trying to just delay the third of Happy for as long as he can. And Happy, he realized that 2 factories are not enough. As a Terran player, you want to have a couple of more if you really want to go for mech. The bad thing is you also want to have those 2 guys here. You want to get gas. Why is that? Mech units cost a lot of gas, and to make it happen, you need those extra refineries for the gas income. So he's currently trying to get that, but he really can't, because first of all there's an Overlord spreading creep. He's shitting all over the place. And at the same time we have the roaches just staying here, getting a couple of hits from the siege tanks, but they don't care too much. What they care about is to snipe every single SCV that comes out, and also take down the Marines that want to get rid of the Overlords. So the one thing that Happy is really trying to do right now is kill those Overlords somehow. The funny thing is he doesn't have anti-air. That's why he's getting that Thor, because all of the Marines are already gone. That bunker here is not serving any purpose except for blocking the Zerglings from running in, but the Marines are already, yeah, they are already away. So what's happening right now? We have the additional tech for Targa, and he's in a happy place. He's taking a 4th base, he knows his opponent has no 3rd, he's delaying him, he knows he's up against mech. well, you can't help it. That's not the best thing for you to happen, but you at least know that the Terran player is not going to push out anytime soon with what he has. Because he wants those extra geysers. He needs gas. It's all about the gas. If you're driving an American car, you know what I'm talking about. In the main base of the Terran player, we have those additional upgrades, and this is something that really works quite well for Terrans now. In the last patch, or in one of the last patches, or since then, those upgrades work not only for the ground units, but also for the air units. Another reason why we quite often see Banshees in combination with that. So, that is going to help him later on a little bit. What's not going to help Happy is that we have 6 Vipers being built. And that's actually a massive commitment to Vipers, because they cost a lot of gas. They need more gas as the American car that I was talking about earlier. So they are horribly expensive. And with a Viper, it's one of those things where you can completely crush mech. You can crush it, because Blinding Cloud is amazing against siege tanks. And you have those awesome yoinks. You can just yank everything in with the abduct, and it's a little bit like one of those Scorpion moves. Mobile combat, every one of them is like Scorpion. You're in like, BAM! Get over here! And then you take them down. So, kind of what you try to do with those guys. Get them close enough. For example, if you use Hydralisks, and we've seen a couple of those already. Like this army composition scales really bad into the late game, and especially against mech, it's always a little bit dangerous, because if you run into sieged up tanks, this is just gonna a big ball of mush. This is just gonna be bioflex on the ground, and that's not gonna do anything. So you need to get close, and then you yank those units in, the siege tanks particular, and then suddenly that composition looks a lot more sexy than before. What's also pretty sexy, by the way, is the creep spread that we have on that map. At least if you know what a decent creep spread looks like. We have a 5th base being built at the bottom right now. And at the same time, we have the creep spread everywhere. So Targa is claiming the entire map now. He's really trying to get the map control. And, well, Happy is starting to get into a position where he says, like, alright, you may have the map, but I have a pretty sick army here. And if I move out with that, with my 100-something army supply, you better be prepared, because this stuff is dangerous, dude. Like, they have one of those thingies where it just says, like, yeah, don't let kids toy with them. We have Enduring Locust being researched for Targa as well. And he's fully aware that this is a dangerous position to be in. But we have the Zerg player at the same time dealing with those Vikings, and now suddenly he's yoinking the Vikings in. And this is the Sub-Zero move that I was talking about earlier. Scorpion move, my bad. So, taking the anti-air out will serve the Vipers in the long run. There's a lot of scans going down. And one of the things that you also want to do when you are making Terran, sensor towers. Great structure. Shows you where the Zerg player is, and suddenly that army is very mobile. All those Hellbats, they take down a huge chunk of Targa's army, and Targa is realizing that he needs a little bit more firepower than that. The first step is getting the Enduring Locust upgrade that helps him later for a Swarm Host transition, but a Greater Spire is also pretty cool when you want to make this work, so you can just go into Brood Lords, and then it's very tough for the few Vikings that we have in the game to actually force anything down, because you have the Yoinks here with the Vipers, at the same time you have the Hydras. You can't come too close with your Vikings or they are going down. But Happy is just trying to start claiming the map back. He's already going the +3 attack upgrade and is moving out with his army, is just trying to get the extra production into the picture, because he's on 4 bases right now. And if you are a Terran player and you are looking at 4 bases, you are looking at 8 geysers, you are feeling pretty happy. So he could actually... Oh, and he's going for a triple starport. And boys, I tell you one thing, if a Terran player gets a Sky Terran army in, and you are a Zerg player, you are screwed. You are absolutely screwed unless you have 5 times his resources. Because once those battle cruisers and ravens are there, that I can't, like, God show mercy on you, because that is gonna be brutal. But Happy isn't there yet, and Targa does not want him to go all that way. He's moving in with a Blinding Cloud now against the siege tanks, trying to win that battle. He's sieging up with the tanks, lifting that orbital already, and those few Hydralisks have to move back immediately. But no extra mining now at that 3rd base anymore. We have the rest of the Terran army just moving in. Those Thors are having a lot of firepower. But as I said, the Terran player is preparing for the air army, and those air units, they also take advantage of those upgrades that are being researched the entire time. That fusion core is going to happen at some point, at least if Empire Happy is having the resources. Right now he's starving a little bit for gas, and that's one of the bad points, but if he ever reaches a battlecruiser Raven army, then you are so screwed as a Zerg player, because it's nearly impossible to really take that down. But it's horribly difficult for a Terran player to get that. You cannot simply turtle on 2 or 3 bases and say like, I'm gonna build battle cruisers now. No, that doesn't work. The Zerg is he's gonna kick your ass. So right now, additional command centers, that's gonna help with the scans, but he really needs to take down the creep spread. I mean, look at that. That is Scarlet level. That is Jadong level, what we have here in terms of creep spread. Those creep tumors, how many do we actually have? We have right now 83 creep tumors. Are you kidding me? That's 70 more and he has 100. He could have 100 in a little bit. Let me have another look at the resources lost. 7,600 for the Zerg, 6,300 for the Terran. Still pretty even. But look at all those bases that we have all over that map for Targa. He has them everywhere. Taking the gas here would be a pretty cool idea, by the way. And one of the things that he can also make work, a lot of creep tumors, I'm not quite sure why I'm showing you this picture. Probably because I had a look into the future. I knew that the entire Terran army would walk through the frame. But for now we have that battle going down right where I had the spot, and here come all those blinding clouds, and they are so good against mech. And it just shows that army of Targas is currently going ham here. But at the same time we have the siege tanks in the back, and they do a lot of damage. All those broodlords being transfused by the queens. What about the Vikings? The count is down to 9 already, but they are doing all the damage that they need to do against the broodlords. The Hydras, on the other hand, they want to shut them down, but the broodlords are gonna die one by one. The big thing for Targa is that with all the resources that he had, he can immediately max, and 32 Mutalisks. This is what you want to see. A Mutalisk transition, 1 Dimaga, one of the games against Yoda. And Targa, maybe watching the games, is deciding to go into the same composition. He is going in with everything that he has right now. He has upgrades, but no armor upgrades. How many Thors do we have? 2. Yeah, that's not going to be enough. He needs a lot more than only 2 Thors. And already most of the siege tanks are gonna go down here, and reinforcing with siege tanks and Hellbats, that is not what you need to have here. You don't know that there are Mutalisks coming, but I can tell you already, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt big time. Bye Vikings, and as much as it pains me, bye Happy. This is not something where he can recover. This is gonna be a slaughter. A couple of oh, actually, well, he could move into those 2. I don't think that the missile turrets are going to be a big deal. The one thing that you can have is missile turrets that are being repaired by SCVs and a couple of Vikings to zone them out. But it's just not going to be enough. There are only a couple of Vikings and not enough of them. There are not enough missile turrets on the low ground. Those few starports were exposed. So GG, Targa takes game number 1, and Happy is down in the series and has to win 2 in a row now.